Hi! This is going to be my April and May reading wrap up combined, but before I begin I just wanted to say thank you and sorry for everyone who has stuck around on my channel waiting for videos. I do plan to start uploading videos on a regular basis again now. And I also wanted to say hello to any new subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing and I hope you enjoy it here. Basically my excuse is that I did my last week of uni and after that I kind of wanted to take a break, so I thought I'll take, you know, a week off making videos. And then what happened was I just got really lazy. I also got sick with some kind of flu. I haven't been ill for a very long time and I knew this was going to happen. That as soon as I handed in that last assignment I was just gonna, my immune system was just gonna crash and burn, and it did. And it was awful and it stuck around for about a week. But my time off has given me a chance to kind of think about what I want to do with my channel, what I want to expand on. So for example, I really want to talk about films some more, which I'm planning to do this week. Alright, so let's actually start talking about some books now, shall we? So the first book that I read in April was Why I Write by George Orwell. It's this tiny little great ideas book from Penguin and I just love the way these look, and I've seen it around a few times and I thought this probably has a few quotes that I can put into my creative writing essays at the end of the year. And I was quite surprised because I thought it was going to be about writing fiction, but it was more to do with politics and the politics at the time, which was after World War II. And after World War II or during World War II? One moment. Yeah, just after World War II. And it was actually quite interesting to read it when I did, because the general elections in the UK were coming up and this had a very particular standpoint on politics and where it should go. So it was really interesting to see kind of the parallels between then and now. My favourite part was the beginning part because that did talk about George Orwell's personal kind of relationship with writing and where it came from, like his childhood and how his writing developed throughout his life. So the first bit was the most interesting for me, but if you're interested in history, particularly around World War II and politics, then definitely give this one a read. I think I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. The second thing that I read in April was actually a collection of poetry, and it was the collected poems of Sylvia Plath. I really enjoyed this collection and I think I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. My favourite poem of the collection was Lorelei, and because I don't really know how to talk about a poetry collection, I thought I would just read out a little bit of Lorelei. So bear with me, I'm going to be looking down here because that's where my laptop screen is and that's where I wrote down the poem, so. Sisters, your song bears a burden too weighty for the hold ears listening. Here in a well-steered country under a balanced ruler, deranging by harmony, beyond the mundane order, your voices lay siege. You lodge on the pitched reefs of nightmare, promising such harbourage. By day descant from borders of hebetude, from the ledge, also of high windows, worse even than your maddening song, your silence, at the source of your ice-hearted calling, drunkenness of the great depths, O river I see drifting, deep in your flux of silver, those great goddesses of peace, stone, stone, ferry me down there. So that was Lorelei by Sylvia Plath and my favourite in the collection. I'll leave a link in the description to like the whole poem so that you can go and check it out. The third book that I finished in April was Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. It's about a fireman, and in this world that means he actually sets the fires because books aren't allowed, they're illegal, and anyone who owns them, they get found out and the firemen go in and set the fires and destroy all of the books. The pacing is really well done. I think the plot moves along really well from point A to point B, and I really enjoyed the character development, the way that the ideas that the character had at the beginning have changed completely by the end. I really appreciate it when a book can do that because it shows that opinions change and people develop new beliefs, and that's fine, that's part of being human. My favourite part was definitely towards the end because I highlighted so many different quotes from that end bit. I might as well have just taken like the whole third of the last part and highlighted it all without stopping. I think I had some mixed feelings about the writing style at times, but overall I thought that it was really unique and beautiful in the description sometimes. In some parts it got quite flowery, I think, sometimes, but I mean, I still gave the book 4 stars, so. The next book that I finished in April was again another poetry collection, and that was The Lost Lunar Baedeker by Mina Loy. These are selected poems. Again, I don't really know how to talk about poetry very much, but I'll do my best. It felt very modern, and I was so surprised when I found out that she was born in 1882, I think. I think what she had to say was kind of universal across time, and I really liked that. I really liked the kind of way that it seemed timeless, and I'm gonna put it down. There were a lot of quotes from this book that I felt like I would see people wearing as like tattoos or like posting on Tumblr as graphics and things like that. For example, one of the last poems in the collection is called Aphorisms on Futurism, and one of the quotes is, "But the future is only dark from outside. Leap into it and it explodes with light." That's why I really enjoyed this collection and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read was Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro, and I really enjoyed this book again. I think I gave most books this month 4 out of 5 stars. This was another 4 out of 5 stars read for me. I found myself really immersed in the story, and I think that was down to the way it was told, because it was kind of told directly to the reader by the main character Ruth, who was telling it in a really informal way. She was kind of telling it through anecdotes. They kind of build up to tell the whole story. This is about 3 friends who all went to the same boarding school as kids, and it's about looking back on those days and also about looking at where they are now. And there is a dystopian twist to the story that I'm not going to give away. Like I said, I really enjoyed the way the story was told. It really immersed me in this friend group, and I also was really impressed by how well it captured those kind of petty friendship group dynamics. I wouldn't say that this book made me cry, but it was quite hard-hitting at times, especially towards the end. It just didn't make me like sob or anything like that. It was just kind of a more poignant, leaves you thinking about it afterwards kind of thing. Like I said, I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. The second to last thing that I read in April was Somewhere in Advance of Nowhere by Jane Cortez, and this is another poetry collection. One thing that I really liked about this collection was that I really felt like I could hear a voice, which is something that I haven't come across with other collections of poetry before, so that was really good. And because I could hear the voice so much, I actually did like a little search on Jane Cortez and found a article on Guardian website. I found a quote from Jane Cortez, and she said that words are musical, there's nothing more to say about it. There is the sound of the voice and your attitude you put on top of it. So that's what I really felt with this collection, and I was really glad that I found that quote because it kind of, I feel like she really achieved that, so yeah. I also really liked that it was unafraid to bring up issues to do with racism and kind of makes you go, oh wow, I never thought of it that way before. So I really liked that about the collection. And I also like the fact that Jane Cortez used like really unpretty language sometimes. Like, I really liked that. So yes, I really enjoyed the poetry that I've read this month actually, and I gave that collection a 4 out of 5 stars. And the very last thing that I read in April and also in May, because I didn't read anything in May, was Bloodchild by Octavia E. Butler, and this is a short story. I had absolutely no idea what this story was about going into it. Turns out it's about a kind of alien race that has taken over, I think, and basically they are kind of parasitic and they use humans to give birth to the young. But what's interesting is that the story is told from a young boy's perspective, and in this story boys can also give birth to the aliens' children. So that was really interesting, the fact that the roles were kind of almost reversed. I just kind of started reading it on the train, and this was a mistake because that story was really disturbing to me, and I was kind of like reading it and like squirming, and it wasn't the best place to read this story. So I would advise not reading this story on public transport, but I would advise that you read the story at some point. I gave that one a 3 out of 5 stars. So that's all of the books that I read in April, and like I said, I didn't read anything in May because I was being lazy and taking a break. I'm really excited about getting back to making videos, and I want to do like all of the tag videos that I've been tagged in. I want to do discussion videos, I want to do more writing videos, I want to talk about films, I want to talk about TV. I have all of these ideas, and yeah, I'm just really excited to get back to doing that, and also to get back to watching other people's booktube videos because I really miss that as well. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe if you want to, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye! It turned out it was more about trains. That'll do, donkey. That'll do.